my apologies for pulling up late to y'all. We got Undead Unluck here for you though. Chapter 112, and let's get straight into it. So as we begin the chapter, we finally get to see our favorite mad lads, Unruh and Seal. As we see Unruh and Seal racing through the HQ, they pull up upon a barrier from our favorite called Unbreakable. And Unbreakable has this barrier, obviously, which they can't get past. So as they plan to go kill our girl Ishin, because we've already seen this throughout the series, killing a negator doesn't do their ability. We get our favorite little bust down Tatiana as she comes in and hits us with some bars that obviously hit close to home. She said to Unruh, "You're that nigga who stabbed Fugo? Huh?" She said, "I'm about to murk both of y'all." And she did some things that I thought was really cool. We can see that she's very much progressed in terms of using her ability, as she uses a new one, Untouchable Area Specified Release Cylinder. And we can just see that throughout the series she's gotten better at doing this. She used to have like involuntary burst out. She even was whenever she was sitting in that room with Fuko, I think she was fighting Top and Andy, somebody. She almost killed everybody because she was just emotionally flustered and was going to blow up everything within the Union HQ's range. But obviously she's at a point now where she's able to really hone in on her powers and, not f it up. And although I don't want to stick here too long, we do have to mention Andy's journey through the Union HQ. As he's pulling through the HQ, he pulls up on our boy Bo, one of the scientist thinker niggas who be working with Dr. Nico Vorgeil. And Bo actually informed Andy that, there was only one mask left behind, and presumably the individual who left this one mask behind, because, the whole poison gas situation, was our boy Nico. And this is a very odd thing, as I mentioned in this previous video that I made on Nico Vorgeil. It seemed like he had some sort of ulterior motives whenever he was fucking over the Union. And this kind of solidified that point because he left a way for his daughter, Nico, to actually survive. And although she didn't want to put that mask on, our boy Bo was a real one. Shout out Bo. Can't wait till we see you in the next loop. But that was some nice information to ride up on. And sorry if it seems like I'm rushing through this. I want to get out a lot more content on this shit this week, and not just, reviews and shit, some thoughtful shit. But what the real meat and potatoes of this video actually needs to talk about is our interaction between Nico and Andy. So as Nico pulls up on Andy, we see some very interesting shit. As I kind of assumed, or I was theorizing in that last video about Nico, he does have clones. I don't know to what degree he uses said clones. Even Bo said, "I owe my whole life to Nico." So presumably that is a clone of him. Maybe, only Nico isn't, but he could even be a real person. Like some of them are actually family members of his technically. So that could be some smoke and mirrors, but who the frick knows. But there are clones within Dr. Nico's laboratory. And amongst these clones, we see Unvoid, we see Gina, and we see Fuko. And we already know that this lad was, trying to work on some for his girl, his wife. But we don't really know what the whole deal with these clones is. And I'm very excited to see that. And it just continues to go down this very interesting rabbit hole of who the hell Nico Vorgeil is. But whenever Nico and Andy are talking, he had one very interesting statement to me. So Andy's obviously like, "Hey, you getting controlled or some shit? Like, you gotta check in with the homies when they're acting crazy." And Nico replies, "If we assume that all of humanity, no, all life forms are being controlled by the rules God has crafted, then maybe so." And as Andy continues to press Nico about his motivations, he says, "There are few things that can sway my heart. Dos, to be exact. My dream of slaying God and my wife. And you know what, nigga? I chose my girl. I chose my girl." Felt him. Might do the same thing. This just really exemplifies the fact that, obviously, Nico's acting with some weird motivations. Nico wanted to save this woman, his wife, because I think, and this is all theory, I just think that Ghost, whenever he eats the soul or the ghost of an individual, maybe that actually takes them completely out of the loop cycle, so she wouldn't appear in this next loop. And this woman that means the world to him and that he cannot forget about, he wants to save her, and he wants to save her through any means necessary. And he pulls up there, he sees Ghost with this woman that he hasn't been able to save through any means throughout his entire lifespan. And I'm not talking lifespan, I'm talking about generations of Nico Vorgeil lifespan, which I'll get into as well. But there's nothing to do. There's no next loop to go to if she's not beside his side, at least through part of it. But unforgettable. One of the theories that I'd put out there, and it was not one that I thought of personally, that's one that a million niggas have been thinking about for a long time. But Nico says to Andy, I don't plan on us ever understanding each other after all, because you forget everything anyways. Huh? What does that mean, my guy? What does that mean? I think that this is kind of like what we were saying in the last video. Each loop, Nico remembers every single thing that occurred in the previous loop. And what I think happens to him is that he's continuously learned more about sciences. Because I don't know if you guys are academics or if you guys are intellectuals out there, if we're just regular niggas. I appreciate every walk of life. But doctors and scientists are two completely different freaking things. And although they both are scientists of science, those are two different disciplines of the field. You can study medicine, you can study biology, you can study biotech, you can study just technology in general. But he is a scientist amongst all of those categories. And I think it's because Nico has this insurmountable task of saving his wife from whatever fate she meets, and he's never been able to do it. And what he's tried to do to overcome it is everything he can through science. So maybe she doesn't die through battle, but I do think she could have potentially still died through battle because because she did have that Union tag on whenever we saw her recently. So presumably she was a negator, so presumably she was out there fighting, but I mean, not every single negator has to be out there fighting. I really don't know. I don't really know. But he's tried to do every single thing he could to, in his power, save her whenever that inevitable moment comes in every single loop where he knows he's going to lose his wife, the woman he loves and the woman he's continuously loves through every loop. He's found the perfect woman for him, and he's always going to run back to her, a puppy returns to where he's supposed to go, word of machina. But he just hasn't been able to put the cards in place, figure out the whole plan, figure out as in-depth science as possible in order to do it. And he even says, the only reason I'm alive still, the only reason I've pressed my life this far is just to save this woman. And I think that Ghost, using her as a sort of leverage or blackmail, was the only reason that Nico really betrayed the Union and why he still saved his daughter, because there are a couple people, not just his wife, a nigga just being an edgy bad boy on his he shit. But there's a couple people in this world who he would work hard enough for, he would try to save in any instance, which he did do, even though Ghost, being controlled by God, tried to make him kill. Tried. But this nigga Nico, you're a little hard-boiled. But I don't really give a damn. I respect the heck out of Nico and everything he's sort of done for us. Not sort of done for us, that's a real one. It's you gotta look back on the hard times. Hey, it's a lesson for life, everybody. You ever become an enemy or a frenemy of somebody who you used to love, you still gotta cherish those times you had with them. Got to. It's ignorant to go on a journey called life and not expect some people to hop off board your ship. But shit, I don't know, I'm running in circles. This is a late video because hey, my little Fuko, my little La Mira was in town this weekend, Memorial Day weekend. Spend time with my girl, niggas. You go spend time with your loved ones too. But next chapter, get ready for the saddest backstory you've seen yet. More undead shit to come this week. Hasta luego, mi amigos.